What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Rejects. Tonight on this live, I have with me, I got Lisa and I have Teresa that was also on the whole I series. We tend to do some really good work together, so I figured we might as well just keep it going. And when we were doing that series, I think I had even mentioned that it kind of gave us ideas for other topics, and this is one of them. Elon Musk was definitely going to be one of them, and like I had even said before, possibly like even the Book of the Law or the Gnostic Mass, but this one is a lot easier to cover. The Gnostic Mass and the Book of the Law is going to be, deep. But definitely wanted to finally like kind of try to decode Elon Musk. And like I said before, I got Teresa with me as usual, my partner in crime, my podcasting partner. What is up? And just in case people don't know who you are yet, you want to just plug your show real quick?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me for that lovely introduction. But yeah, my other show, also co-hosted with you, is the Spiritual Gangsters. It's a good time. It's a little bit of a break from the heavy stuff and more conversational. So yeah, if people want to check that out, it's on YouTube and all the major podcast platforms. And I'm on Instagram and Twitter, kind of. I always forget to check Twitter. And now Threads, like, how many things to check, man? Like,
I made a threads and I don't know.
it's a little redundant, I feel, because we have like Instagram stories, we have Twitter. Like, why do I need another thing to just copy and paste my tweets or whatever on? Like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree. Honestly, if it had, at first I thought it was pretty cool that it doesn't have any DMs, but if it did, like I probably would be able to actually switch off of Twitter. But
Mm,
unfortunately, I still need to use that to contact the podcast.
right? Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and we have, like I said, we have Lisa with us. She does not have
No,
a show
it's
to
just
plug.
me.
She's very lovely.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. So with this episode, we're going to kind of touch on a lot of stuff about Elon Musk. I assume this is going to be more than one part. That's why it says part one. We're going to touch on some stuff with him, and I really wanted to try to like run numbers on this too with gematria. Like I had said before, like running stuff with the eyeball series, I started even noticing things that would kind of like go along with him with gematria, and just like a lot of like weird god names. So I guess I'll start it off here. I'm gonna run the gematria on Elon and Musk, and then after that we're just gonna start going into like family members, companies, children, and a little bit of information on each one of those, and then I'll just like show you the numbers and everything. And I do think by the end of this, people obviously, to me, it's quite obvious there is like something up with these numbers. I think. I want you to keep an eye on eights and fives. There'll be a lot of eights and fives, 5 8s, 8 8 5. It seems like a lot of number play with 8 and 5s, 6 3, 9 3, and a lot of like even numbers 2 4 6 8. And I do think that's kind of all going along the same path. Like again, I have even said like 8 6 to 4, and then I would include 2. To me, is all kind of like the hero's journey. It's Hermes, a Thoth, rising up the tree. So I do wonder if that's why you see a lot of those numbers as well. I'll get into it now, real quick. Here we go with Elon. The word Elon, it adds to 155 in Hebrew gematria, and in English 276, and then simple would be 46. Um, that I happen to just add Nuit is 64. And there was something I didn't get into it too much or mark it on too many things, but I had also noticed like something, like the reverse instead of a 46, 64, or like one number is off on things. Like instead of like 93, it might be 92. So I even wondered, was that done on purpose? But so we have here Elon 46, and I included Nuit is 64. His name, Elon in Hebrew gematria is Pangea. I wouldn't say it was anything crazy. Man child, I thought that was interesting. Rafiki. The only reason I even highlighted that is because if you go back to the I series, I did start finding a lot of Lion King names. So again, Rafiki popping up. I thought that was interesting to include. Now, when you get into English and simple gematria, you have codes, Greek, Soul. You do have Tate. In part 2, I think I'll be getting to Andrew Tate and Tucker and a couple other weird things. You have Chicago, Chaos, Dove. There's a dove in the OTO Laman. Leon, which could be lion. mRNA. You also have Frog. You have Link. Hero, and he's everybody's hero lately. I threw in Noel because that does match and has to go with the holiday. And Shaddai. I included that because that is like Shaddai El Kai is like a god name, or it's something associated with the Kabbalah, with the sphere. So I included that. And there is a Damien, but I do think this one might be spelt different. It's Damien. Is that Damien? His child is AN, correct?
Yes. It's okay. I think, yeah. I think it's
so, I mean, Cloak. Oh, all right. So, I mean, maybe this is, and maybe it's not.
No. You're right. You're right. AN. Yes, you're right. Correct. Sorry.
And another thing I also noticed too with a lot of his stuff, I don't know, if it's done on purpose, especially when you get to some of the companies, you might see like numbers switch. Like you have Elon in English gematria, it's 276, but then tiers in Hebrew gematria is 276. So I included that to show that real quick. Musk is 330 in Hebrew gematria, English 384, and 64 in simple. Instead of soul that you got in Elon, now you have sun. Solomon, Palestine, Black Panther. He also matches nuclei. He also matches nerve, 384 and 64. And he also matches the Lima, 384 and 64. He also matches, I find this very interesting, Billiken. Billiken is like the mascot for the Jesters. For the Royal Order of the Jesters, who are inner order of the Masons, their pins have this little fat dude wearing a crown, and his name is Billiken. I thought that was actually interesting to add.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That is a weird one.
Yeah.
You got Alien Life, Jobs, Park, Aramaic, Hands, Gimel, which is, I think, another Hebrew word, Uber, Ward, Magical. I included bowls because, again, those bowls that we had flying in the sky not too long ago, who knows. Cairo, Panama, DNA Code, and Ascend. And yeah, that is all I got for just Elon and Musk. And now I will let Lisa take it away. And as she covers certain names and things, I will bring up the gematria for it.
I'm going to just do like a quick overview or whatever.
You want.
Okay. So Elon Reeve Musk, Reeve is his middle name. He was born on June 28, 1971 in Pretoria, Transvaal, South Africa. I think I'm saying that right. To parents May Hadelman Musk, who's Canadian born but was raised in South Africa. Father Errol Musk, British of Pennsylvania and Dutch ancestry. Education, he started off in University of Pretoria for about 5 months, then moved over to Queen's University for about 2 years, and then ultimately finishing at UPenn, which is an Ivy League, he said 1995, but UPenn has him listed at 97 graduating. And he graduated with apparently a double major, bachelor's economics and bachelor's in physics. And then after that, he moved to Stanford University where he was going to start a PhD. He was there for 2 days, and then quit and then started the venture Zip2. Spouses that he has married is Justine Wilson for about 7 years, Tallulah Riley, probably saying that wrong, 5 years. Grimes not married, but they were considered an item. And then now he is currently the father of Siobhan's kids, but I don't think they're romantically involved. So, okay. So now quickly.
Real quick, if you don't mind, real quick.
No, go ahead.
I totally forgot to look at Reeve. And I did it real quick while you said it now.
Yeah.
And definitely some interesting stuff. Reeve does match 330 in English gematria and 55 in simple. I'm going to be mentioning that multiple times as well as we go along. So I
Okay.
really thought this was interesting. And just real quick, it does match Turkey, Zeus, Holy Grail, Bloodline, Vienna, and then Chaos Theory, a bunch of stuff. But then I found this is interesting in English and simple gematria. You will get Satan, December, Heaven, JFK Jr., and you do get Iris and piano, Club Q. So Gray. So I just find it interesting again, like even his middle name goes back to another part of the eye. So sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but you can.
No, that's good. That's real good because I mean, I think no one really ever mentions his middle name, so I thought that's pretty good. So I'm going to start with his mom, May Haleman Musk. She was born on April 19th, 1948. She was born a twin in Regina, Saskatchewan. I think that's how you say it.
Regina. But yeah.
Regina, Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
Yeah, there you go. Her father was Dr. Joshua Norman Haleman, who was a chiropractor and former director of the Technocracy Incorporated, which is a type of government that was banned in Canada for about a few years, and then it resumed in 1943. And they would call themselves technocrats. And I know I've heard that by conspiracy people saying, technocrats, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that her dad was, I guess, the president of, or the director of that I thought was interesting. It's basically the science of social engineering of an entire population. So she, while she was born in Regina, then moved to Pretoria in South Africa and started working for her father at the age of 8. She was a finalist as a Miss South Africa in 1969 and is currently a model and registered dietitian. She has appeared nude in several magazines, in particular the New York Magazine in 2011 with a fake pregnant belly. She married Errol Musk in 1970, divorced him in 79, had 3 children with Errol: Musk, Kimball, which is the brother, and Tosca, which is the sister. So Elon was 8 years old at the time of the divorce, another 8. So, yeah.
You know what I find?
That's May.
I'm sure this is probably nothing to do with each other, but you think of words like Gamel or Kimball, or then what was the other one?
Tosca?
No, but whatever it is, like it gets very close to the word gimbal.
Oh,
And
yes.
gimbal, I only reason I know what a gimbal is because of my drone. That is the thing that actually moves around.
Okay.
Screen. I just find that interesting how like even the word to like something that moves around and records and sees shit is even close to like Gimmel or Kimball. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. No, for sure. But so she had 3 children, and then Errol Graham Musk. So you couldn't really pinpoint a birth date for him, but the 2 that I found that commonly appeared was May 25th and June 6th. So 6/6, and born 1946. So if you go with the 6/6, 1946, I don't know. I think and again, no one's pinned down a date, so I don't know if that's even real or not. I have to say that. He was born in Pretoria, South Africa. His grandmother was the first chiropractor in Canada. That's why I mentioned the chiropractor with May's dad, because he was a chiropractor in Canada. And then now you have Errol's grandmother being the first chiropractor in Canada. So they knew each other, right? The families knew each other. Worked as a pilot, sailor, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, property developer, part owner of an emerald mine in Lake Tanganyika in Zambia, which he bought for 40,000 pounds after selling a plane for 80,000 pounds. Even that's refuted by Elon, and it happened in the 1980s. That's about the time that he moved back with his dad after the divorce, because they divorced in 1979, and I believe 2 years later Elon went to go live with his dad. And so he would have, if the mine story is correct, he would have gone to go live with him at that time. He met May. Errol met May when Errol was 11 years old. So that meant that May was 9 years old. And they stayed childhood friends and ultimately married in 1970. So they knew each other. The families knew each other, obviously. And then, so he fathered 3 children with May. May got custody. Elon went to live with Errol at the age of 10. Kimball followed 4 years later. Errol married again, fathered 2 daughters, and then ultimately fathered a son and a daughter with a stepdaughter, which I think we've discussed. Y'all have discussed that story before, that he raised a stepdaughter from his second wife and then ended up fathering a son and a daughter with that stepdaughter. And he was quoted, "The only thing we are on this earth is to reproduce." So
Well, hasn't Elon even said that he thinks that we need to have more kids?
Yeah. There's a lot.
I find like a lot. I'm sure. I don't think he, is probably claim. I don't think he's a Mormon, but he does have very there's a lot of like Mormon-esque stuff about him, in my opinion.
Very, very. And for as much as he says he doesn't like his dad, there's a lot of similarities with his dad's persona that you do see occurring in Elon's life history. So it's interesting. So, and then I'm going to move on to the wives. Or partners.
Yeah, you know what?
Did you want to wait?
Yeah, I was going to say before you go on with that, let me do what I did. What I got.
Okay.
No, I'm going to pull up. I think I did the area of like where he was born, and I want to cover his parents at least before we go on. So here we go. I have all right. Pretoria. I just checking the places that he was born or whatever. It's 385 in Hebrew, 612 in English, and 102 in simple English. And in 385, you get mirroring, the archons, the dragons, Rex. I find that interesting. I was like at a guy's house today who was on the news for the Gilgo killings, and his name is Rex. Identification, Rammstein, and Nottingham, Lemurian, Serpentine, Circus. That's funny. I mentioned the Jesters before. Kim Petras, Kleenex, Drax. I mentioned Drax because that is a Marvel character. And it also equals Nunet, which is another version of Nuit. And then in simple gematria, you get Australia, Instagram, Charlie Ward, another alien shill. Nashville, Jim Carrey, Cowboys, Sam Smith, which is interesting because we had Kim Petras before, now Sam Smith in English and simple. Submarine, Key of David, Valentine, Isaac Cappy, Dimension, New Order, Chernobyl, Mark III, Dragonfly, World Peace, The Black Hole, Dan Scavino, and Bridge the Gap. Thought those were worth mentioning. Then Transvaal, you get 1,033. You get 648 for English and 108 for simple English. The 133, you get Vanguard, Crow, Wagner, Trump administration, Nashville bombing. The Boys of Summer, I remember that song, so I highlighted that. Jay Kushner, Wildfire, Blue Archive. And that also matches Punctum. I don't know if that's, coincidence or whatever, whatever, but it does match a part of the eye as well. It also matches Avatar of Enlil, Vlad Dracul, Mercury Rising. Again, I was saying before, I feel like a lot of this is Thoth Rising. Thoth is Mercurial. Messenger. 3 Jokers, The Ugly Duckling, Alien Evocation, H.P. Lovecraft, Looking to the Future, Alexandria, Egypt, and 7 Chakras. You get date of birth, geometry, prime time, journey, full moon, heart attack, metaverse, Yeshua, Meghan Markle, and fallen angels. You Get Twilight, Billy Graham, Kevin Hart, Free Energy, Aerosmith, Renaissance, Shakespeare, Chemtrails, Zeus, and Gaia. Now for the father, you have Errol. He is 235 in Hebrew gematria, and then 408 in English, and 68 in simple. Again, we got all these, 2, 4, 6, 8s. You have the Elohim that matches in Hebrew, red apple, barcodes. It also matches Bowman, which is this is kind of like what bugs me out a little bit. If you want to like kind of pay mind to what I'm saying about Tahuti or Toth or Hermes rising up, I could see like Bowman making sense. I mean, because that could be a bow that he's holding in his hand, or even the archer. So I could, I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence, but Bowman, which is part of your eye, comes up, which does match Hermes. So I find that interesting. And that even does match SpaceX as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, you have with Errol, that does match the 408, and the 68 matches Bowman, and then the 68 matches Hermes. Instead of 480 for English, it's 408, which, I find that funny. It's still like the same numbers, just moved around now. And again, with SpaceX, instead of the 480, it's a 408, but the 68 does match. And for SpaceX, you also get the Simpsons and Ancestors, The Gift, Charlie Kirk, and Almonds. You get July, Easter, Brazil, Hermes, obviously, Marduk, Shalom, Amun Ra, Wayne, Carrie Lake, and Planet. Then with May, she is 436 for Hebrew and 264 in English and 44 in simple. Again, like you're going to see a lot of even numbers in the same ones with these people, which also matches Tyr. 44 in simple gematria matches Tyr. You get Cannabis, Diet Coke, Lilith, Ringo, Machines, Obelisk with Tyr. You get Dojo, Godhead, and Cobain with Tyr. The Great Flood. You got Reptilian, I Am Secret, Secret Agent, Circumcised, and Turbine. Comes under May as well. Find it interesting, like even Turbine. It's kind of a good reptilian. You get Kill, Cancer, which I find that interesting because the Cancer symbol is at the top of the Freemason arch. And I could see that ending in death. Faith, Abraham, Karma, Adonai, Space, Judah, Set, Helen, Hidden, Dante, Harp with 2 A's, Ladder, Yod, again with gematria or Hebrew, Brain, and Mask. Clock, Magic, Boaz, Simba, again, Lion King, EST, and Degree. And then, I'll let you take back over because I don't want to jump ahead to the companies now.
Okay.
All right, so you can go back.
Okay. Do you want me to quickly go through the wives, or you want to just?
Yeah, I just have to catch up. I might have like maybe the wives and the companies out of order. So you can go ahead and I'll catch up and find the wives.
Okay. So the first wife is Jennifer Justine Wilson. She goes by Justine, born on September 2nd, 1972 in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. Is that how you say it? I think. Okay. Attended Queen's University. I think that's where they met. And she got a bachelor's in English literature, moved to Japan, taught English as a second language, settling ultimately in California with Elon, and authored several books. So she's an author. She married Musk in January of 2000, described the marriage as unhealthy due to his dismissal of her career ambitions, describing himself as an alpha and pressuring her to be a trophy wife. The children that she had with Elon, they first conceived a son named Nevada Alexander, who was born in 2002 and died of SIDS at 10 weeks of age. Then they had twins and triplets, both sets via IVF. So the twins were Griffin and and Alexander, I'm sorry, Griffin and Xavier in 2004. Xavier is the one that has since changed over to Vivian and has, I believe, deleted his last name Musk and taken his mom's last name. Then they had triplets, Saxon, Damien, and Kai in 2006. So that's Justine. That was the first wife. Then he married Riley. Her birth date is September 26th, 1985. She's from England. One of the things that I found was interesting about her is that she's published a couple of books, and the publisher that has picked up the publications of her books to distribute, I guess, also published Lewis Carroll's first Alice Adventures of Wonderland in 1922. That publisher also bought the Lancet, which is, the scientific publication. And then they are also home to Stephen King, and they publish the NIV Bible. So I thought that was of significance. They married the NIV Bible, what is it, Teresa? It's not the King James version. It's like a different version.
Yeah, I think it stands for like New International Version.
That's exactly what it is, which is the Catholic one. Because I know that I see no.
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google it while you talk.
Okay, perfect. So they got married in a cathedral in Scotland, which that cathedral was established in 1233, the year 1233, and is a 13th century cathedral, previously Roman Catholic, but it was built on top of a volcanic dike, possibly a ley line, which I thought was pretty interesting. So they first met in 2008 when she was 22, and they married after dating for 10 days. Elon proposed and gave Riley 3 engagement rings, one of which was designed with a diamond in the center and 10 sapphires surrounding the diamond. And they were to represent the total of 10 children that they wanted to have. Ended the relationship in February of 2012. And then it was a back and forth. They would file and then they would get back together and then file and then ultimately divorcing and then remarrying. So kind of a back and forth thing. But one thing that, Elon awarded her $4 million in the divorce settlement. During the acquisition of Twitter, Riley had sent him a text message saying, "Please do something to fight wokeism. I will do anything to help XX." So that's Riley.
So the Bibles. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I'm done with Riley.
Yeah, just real quick. So the NIV, New International Version, is used mostly by Anglicans, Baptists, Reformed Christians, Lutherans, and Presbyterians. Okay. The generally used by Catholics version of the Bible is the Revised Standard Version, or the RSV.
Gotcha. So, yeah. Okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
And real quick before you go on, I'll pick up Justine. I'll cover that real quick before you go on to the next one, if you don't mind.
No. Yeah.
Justine Wilson. I put in the whole name, and I think I put in her first name and then her last name by itself. You got 2153 in Hebrew, and then English is 1140, and then simple is 190. It does match Savior of the World, who discovered the Q code. Our Lady of Victory, 447. I didn't think nothing too crazy with that. Justine, you will get 588 and 98. In Hebrew, you will get Matthew, Sweden, The Wicked, Love Me Tender, Military Operation, Fedora Project, and Moon River. Yeah, I think I might have actually screwed up and left out screenshots. Oops. I'll let you go back, and I'm going to see. I think I left out the Wilson for some reason, the Wilson ones. Oh, unless this
just real quick about Justine, which I thought was interesting. So, when their baby passed away, Nevada, it was 2002. So that's the same year that Elon co-founded PayPal. X.com that became PayPal, and SpaceX. He founded them both the same year. So I thought that was really odd. And I'm like, is that a sacrifice? Was it really Sid's? Like, you know, found it odd. So that was like one thing that came up. Also, another weird tidbit: his dad, born in 1946, the same year as Trump.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what? That's crazy. And another thing, did you guys look up his name meaning at all? Like Elon? Because I think it's such a weird name. I mean, maybe it's weird just because I'm not familiar. I think it's probably because his parents are like of Dutch ancestry.
Yeah.
So I
I
thought
did not.
maybe it's common.
No.
But yeah, so it means oak tree in Hebrew. And also Elon, the name appears in the Bible, and he was a judge from one of the tribes of Israel in the Old Testament. So that was interesting. Apparently, though, May named him after her father, or like a
Yeah,
relative.
her grandfather. Yeah.
There you go.
That was
Oh, here I have everything here. It's just I had so much I was confused about, like what it meant. All right, so here with Justine Wilson, like I did say, you get 2153 for the Hebrew, and then the English 1140, and then 190. The 190, even though it's in simple gematria, I do include that 190 in Hebrew gematria does match Athar, which is a Arabic hadith. So I did find that interesting. Yeah, and her name also, I am Yahweh your God, the veil of sorrow. That might be interesting to add. And still, again, for her whole name, the beginning and last, tunnel vortex, Trump is dead, twisted sister, Vladimir V. Putin, remote influencing, Lady Nuit Astarte, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Stone of Destiny, Forever Immortal, God's Holy Twins, 774, All Roads Lead to Rome, It's Happening Now, and I Am the Key and the Lock. Then in Justine, just her name alone, you get 1044, 588, and 98. The 1044, even though it's Hebrew, it will also match Aquarius humor in English. So I will include that. I'll just mention that. With the 1044, you will get Matthew, Sweden, The Wicked, Love Me Tender, Military Operation, Fedora Project, and Moon River. Aquarius humor, you get Crazy and Harvest. Again, with the beginning of her, the first, Justine with 1044, Virgin Birth, Project Sign, Crystal Implants. Then with the English in simple, you will get Istanbul, Crystal, Proton. Choose one. Remember Proton. Choose one. Tom Brady, Prophet, Alpha and Omega, Garden of Eden, 88. 88.
Yeah.
Valentina, Nero Caesar, Lazarus, Democrats, Blizzard, Angel of Death, Black People, and Sunset. Damar Hamlin, May 3rd, Dr. Pepper, Joe Brandon, Day of the Dead, Python, A Hole in One, Waterfall, and Israelite. Then Wilson, her last name, 1109, and then 552 and 92. See, it was like so close to 93. The 1109, you get Wilson, Ivy, Sacred Frequency of God, Boris Johnson, 1984, Valiant Thor. If anybody knows who Valiant Thor was, I do think that was some other bullshit psyop from back in the day. It was supposedly some alien guy that looked like a human and had an extra finger and was supposedly working with the government. Some other bullshit alien story. Stone in Love. This is the Apocalypse. Michael Wagner, The Tunnel Through the Air, Stewie. Activate Paimon, Shark Week, Girly Magazine, I Will Descend. Now, with the English in simple gematria, this is her last name. Now, before I did her first name and you got Proton, her last name, Reverse Yellow Electron, Treason, Wilson, Black Friday, Pentagon, Leviathan, Sydney, Planet X, The Dragon, Napoleon, TikTok, Hamilton, Chronos, Zoltar, The Joker, and Rabbit Hole, as well as Sapphire, Heavenly, Pinocchio. Now tell me this ain't some funny shit. Tom Hanks was in a movie and had his volleyball that was Wilson,
Yeah.
and then ended up playing in Pinocchio.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yo. What the heck?
Marilyn, Lorraine, Ozzy, Manhattan, Morris, Report, Astros, Watson, Education, Ursula, and Duality. And then I'll let you. Who's the next person you got that you're going to?
I went through Riley, but did you already go?
No. Oh, did you? Yeah,
Okay.
you already.
I already covered Riley.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to keep going then.
Okay.
Real quick. I found interesting with the Hebrew and the English. How do you say it? Riley. 864 actually match Hebrew and English. And then the simple gematria is 144. 864 Volcano, James Harden, Octavia, Xfinity, Daniel Jones, Hans Zimmerman, Castration Station. My second time here. And 864 also matches Ra Hor Kuwait, who is a god in the book of the law. And you also get Corey Good as a liar, Sagittarius Archer, Junkie, Heterosexual, Morgan Stanley, Story Time, Psychokinesis, Queen's Park Rangers. And then in English and Simple, you will get Mark of the Beast, Sagittarius, War in Ukraine, King Solomon, Hillary Rodham, Jesuit Order, Alien Invasion, Astral Goddess, Twin Dragons, The Secret Key. April 4th, Scientology, Divine Son, Prince William, Scarlet Woman, Easter Bunny, Multiverse, President Biden, Wakanda Forever, Inverted Time, Laurel and Hardy, Drop the Hammer, and The Crazy Farm. Tallulah, you get 350, 450, and 75. With 350, you get Storm, iPet Goat 2, Starlink, King of Diamonds, Ox, Fantastic, Bud Light, Stonehenge, Escalator, Satellite, Spirals, Kai Musk, Kai Musk, Dr. Maggie McKnight, Mark Mattel, Life After Death, Monsoon, and Time is Bending. Then in English and Simple, you get Chat GPT, Martin, Ishtar, Quinn, Shekinah, Cypher, Dementia, North Arrow, Tatum, Stalin, Lamb of God, Katarina, Ferrari, Sam Hyde, Guardian, and Magic Wand. Then Riley, it's 514, 414, and then 69, which again, that is on the top of the Freemasonic pillars. 514, you get George Soros, Sunrise, Yeti, Harley, Exposed, Zach, Sold Out, and Haze. That also matches in Simple Gematria, that will match Lacrimal, which is in your eye. And that matches the English and Simple. And that also matches Lipids, which is in your eye, 414 and 69. Continuing with the 514, Burns Coin, To Go Cashless, The First Seal, Dictatorship, and Aristocrat. The English and Simple, Beyonce, Wealth, Checkmate, Jehovah, Atlanta, Jeremiah, Texas, Ghost, Cameron, The Law, Archangel, Eclipse, and Mexico. False Flag, Mayday, Mithra, Jasper, Pandora, Griffin, Kenny, Knight with a K, Cricket, Malcolm, Venom, Drugs, and Black Hole. So I am done with that, and you can move on again.
It's interesting that all of that stuff is like, like when you said Chat GPT, Elon is accredited with OpenAI, which is, the whole thing. And then Riley came out in Westworld and she was, an AI. So just odd. Yeah.
I think, I think this. I mean, I understand like these things work because of people typing in stuff, and I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
understand with a lot of new stuff, like, well, constantly something every day is coming up. So I could see how you'd be running that through here, but in my opinion, you're also seeing a lot of stuff that's like right in the last year or two.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, shit that's like recent.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
mentioned some of the kids' names, Griffin, which was one of the twins, and they went to go live with Riley after the divorce. Not live with, but he had custody, and they would stay or whatever. But yeah,
And what
so
that electron and proton, I love that one.
yeah,
That's what
Funny. And a lot of the X stuff that comes up because he's like obsessed with X, naming his companies X and
yeah,
SpaceX, all that stuff, X.com. And then a lot of the
right,
Black Panther stuff is coming up, which in
yeah,
Black Panther, they do they
yeah,
cross their
yeah,
arms in front of their chest, make an
yeah,
X all the time
yeah,
throughout the whole thing, which I thought was
right.
weird. And sorry
No,
to
you're
backtrack.
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Lisa. No.
No, but just to reiterate, yes, he's absolutely obsessed with X. You see X everywhere, and when you've been, I'll come back to that about the X a
Yeah,
little more.
no, real quick, I wanted to add about Justine losing their child, well, due to SIDS, most likely, so they say. I was listening to a snippet from a TED talk that she gave. She's given a few, actually, which is
Okay.
interesting. But she was saying that she does a ritual at Burning Man, like every year, and writes like Nevada's name in this like temple or whatever they have at Burning Man, and then like the temple gets lit on fire like at the end of the festival, and I just thought that was interesting. And she writes, she said she writes Nevada was a good baby every time she goes, which I thought was like super odd. I mean, I've never
That's so
lost a baby,
weird.
so I can't say how one would
Yeah,
deal with the grief of it, but I'm just like, makes me feel like it's ritualistic in some
yeah,
way. And she described that as doing a ritual
right,
for her
right,
child. Yeah.
right.
Just a
That's
weird.
interesting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say about the X is that if you look at all the if you look at all the children, I'm assuming the firstborns all have X's, because if you look at the twins, there's only one that has an X, and then you look at the triplets, there's only one that has an X. Nevada Alexander, the X in Alexander, and then if you go into Grimes's children, the first child that was born, which was a son, is an X. So he puts X's even within his children's names.
Mm-hmm.
And then, X in Roman numerology is 10. And then you see the 10 of 10 weeks of age. And so when he says, X is very, he has sentimental value to it, it almost makes you wonder, is it the X? Is it the 10? Is it, and if you look at his birthday, the actual date, it's 28. So 2 plus 8 is 10. So you just keep seeing that X and that 10 over and over throughout the bio sketch of him. So anyway, I
Absolutely.
wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go into Grimes. She is, I guess, goes by, her name is Claire Elise Boucher. Boucher. Thank you. And then goes by Grimes or C.
Oh yeah, that was
which,
a pain in the ass because I had to do
yeah,
Grimes, I had to do the first name and the
yeah,
last name.
yeah. People started changing their names.
Yeah,
Or
right.
she's been going by
No,
italicized
she
C
changes her name
something.
like podcasters do with their opinions.
But bam chang. Good one.
Because that should be flip flopping every other week, depending on what clicks.
Yeah, the way the wind blows.
Yeah.
Well, so she's been kind of going by this constant C. It's like it's part of an equation, and the C stands for physical constant for the speed of light. And she's now into studying physics and quantum mechanics. So is Riley, and so obviously Chiffon. But any person that's involved with him has pursued some sort of scientific training or trying to learn themselves into some of this advanced physics stuff. So Grimes, she was born on March 17th, 1988, born and raised in Vancouver. To her, I believe her mom was a former Crown prosecutor, and her dad, Maurice, was a banker for businesses, for the business side of biotech. which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah. She was raised Catholic, attended Lord Bring Secondary School of McGill University, focusing on neuroscience and Russian. Obviously, she's a musician, songwriter, record producer, and they met because of a same pun for Rocco and a thought experiment of Roku's basilic, which is a reference to mythical basilics creature
Basilisk?
that caught basilisk. Thank you. Creature that causes death to those that look into its eyes. Again, the eye.
It's also like a reptilian type of creature, a snake-like
Yes.
creature.
Yes.
Like Medusa, right?
I thought of Medusa. Yeah, I thought of Medusa.
Mhm.
You know, that might actually come up on something I have.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, it's okay. But how she's going now with the whole physical constant for speed of light, they kind of met in reference to this mythical creature that if you look into its eyes, light into the eye. And then if you think about the X of how light gets flipped in the eye, you see two triangles.
Well, it's even like in the Hermit card. Yeah, that I've shown.
It just keeps.
It does look like an X, actually.
Mm-hmm. So they began the relationship in 2018 and separated in September of 2021. Grimes referred to her life and art as forever dedicated to the mission now. Whenever you see that, the mission, those two words are capitalized, like the first letter of the words.
Yeah, and
like
what is the mission?
No clue. They don't say.
Right.
So her children, she had a son, and they named him XAE A12 or XAE AX II, or the Roman numeral for 12. And they nicknamed him X. So he goes by X. And then they had a daughter, Exadark Sidereal, that they nicknamed Y, born a surrogate in 2021.
Okay, so that's just weird in general because they go by X. Well, the names are weird. First of all. The boy goes by X, which is the female chromosome, and the girl goes by Y, which is the male chromosome. Exactly. So they've inverted, like who they applied which letter to. First of all, so weird. Yeah. Also, that name Sidereal. I thought it may be like an angel's name or like a fallen angel's name or something.
Oh, Sidereal?
Sidereal.
No, I don't think so.
That's
maybe
astrology.
No, but I looked it up real quick, and was it? Sorry. It means from the stars or malefic. So I was like, what is malefic? I've never heard that word before. It means to cause harm or destruction and refers specifically to the planets Saturn and Mars.
Oh, wow.
Come on. Why would you name your baby that? Unless you have intentions for your mission.
The mission.
Exactly. Yeah. And isn't Grimes the one who had like posted, I don't know where she posted it, like Instagram or Twitter or whatever, in the beginning of Corona times, some symbolic, like cryptic thing with like all these emojis that we can now look back and obviously know what they mean, most likely. But she knows some stuff.
Yeah. Well, she was dating Chelsea Manning, or whatever his name is now, or whatever.
Who's that?
Name is. Grimes. Chelsea Manning? Isn't that the one that wasn't he the one that defected and he had he was trans person, and now he's a female.
Yeah.
It was a big deal, right?
Yeah. Actually, I know
he made news and everything.
I didn't know that.
And so they were dating, or she, whatever, I don't know. I think she's a she now, right? Or he's a she. And so they're dating, and I believe they were living here in Austin for a bit.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah. That's how I knew, because the chatter.
Born Bradley.
Okay.
December 17th.
And she's 17. And she's
17.
88 in 1988.
Yeah. Well, this says 87.
Oh, her or him?
Oh, no, she's 87 December. Oh, him. Chelsea Manning when he was born Bradley. That was December 17th, 1987.
So Grimes' birthday is March 17th, 1988.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Both 17s.
Yeah.
And the 88.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Well, no, there's only 188.
No, in her birth
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
And I couldn't find actual
Again,
birth
those eights come
dates
up a
for
lot.
those two kids, but I'm pretty sure it's something
Well, I think
significant.
the daughter between Elon and Grimes was born in 2021, the
Yes.
same year that his children with Siobhan.
Yes. Yes. So I believe it was somewhere either October or November October or December, because Siobhan had the twins in November and they kept saying a month apart. So I don't know if it was before or after.
But
They
I think
probably listed it. I think it was maybe December.
the daughter with Grimes was by surrogate, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, which is interesting also. And all these Canadian girls. What the heck,
Yeah.
man?
And religion, like
Three
they had
Canadian what?
upbringings of religious upbringing. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Do you have anything left on her, or?
No, that was it.
Okay, so let me run her stuff. So I
Okay.
think this gets interesting too. All right, Grimes, 221, 426, and 71. 221, fucking get Nicholas. God damn it. School, act of God, friends, Phillies, peace officer, masks, Mega Million, acceptance, bedroom, do it again, a light name, Nicole Kidman, nosebleed. Wasn't anything really too crazy with this. My name, Samuel, Zeus, Moses, Apollo, Jasmine, Babylon. Well, in the English and simple, there is, in my opinion. Snow, Orion, Toth, Azazel, Virgo, Pisces, Bulgaria, Quran, Balloon, Celtics, Merlin, Spider, Catholic, Cheryl, Pleiadian, Marvel, Leopard, Temple, Avery, Raziel. Claire, you will get 118, 288, and 48. Again, a lot of eights. The 188, you'll get Death, Amber, Clone, Hook. Athar matches the 288 and 48 with Claire, which again is an Arabic hadith. Then, real quick, some of the actually that doesn't even, I'm not going to include that. Epithelium. Now, this is, even though it's simple English at 118, Claire in Hebrew gematria is 118. Again, like this is the same exact thing I was showing before. It's like the top will match the bottom. I saw so many of them, I started wondering if it was like on purpose, so that's why I'm including them. So epithelium, which is inside your eye. Plexiform. Again, it's not with the Hebrew, it's with the English, but that matches as well, and that is inside your eyeball. That matches chokma too. Angel DNA. And then with the 288 and the 48 with original name. In English and simple, you get James, Sex, Blood, Luna, Sun, Black Adam. Now, even if you happen to listen to the Ice series, I brought up Black Adam a few times.
Good.
Levy, Iowa, Rita. This is for Claire. Ring, Blink, Iceland, Hoax, Kabbalah with a K, Fool, Ellen, Chaldean, Zelda. Then with Boucher, you get 348, 432, and 72. If I remember correctly, I think was Grimes 71. Something was 71. And it's like you'll see like even numbers like one away. I think that's weird. With the 348, you get Spirit, Detroit, Meditation, Pulse, Shift, Opinions, Horror, Midterms, Spilt Milk, Periodic Table. I don't know what that matches. The 348 now that was originally in Hebrew, now in English matches sclera, which is a part of your eye. Also matches the 348. Also matches Indigo Elites, the Night God Soldiers, Offspring, the Salem Inn, Contact Lamb, which was somebody that Crowley was contacting. Emancipation, The Stand, which is a Stephen King book. That Achrome, I don't even want to say the whole thing. Blood of the Lamb, very close to what I was just saying before. Pain is Coming. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Hitler, Mercedes, Mohammed, Monarch, Rocket, Marriage, Valerie, Tammy, School, Darius, and River. Cooper, Harvard, Lust, Rocky, Diet Coke, Trans, Eunuch, Viking, Swamp, Dogecoin. Then with Claire Boucher, the whole word put together, you get 466, 720, and 120. The 466 equals Flotus, Leonardo DiCaprio, Star Trek, King Tut, The Golden Ticket, Snoop Dogg dies. The Hidden Secret, Manipulate, Make America Great Again. Yogi, Open Portal, Fifth Generation, Open Borders. Cub of Israel, Blessed Goddess. And then in the 720 and 120, you get Converter, Illuminati, Klaus Schwab, Archangel, Michael, Ophiscius, or however you say that. I'm screwing that up. Whatever people call it, like the 13 Zodiac. The Truth, Thumbs Up, which does match Heliopolis, because I remember that from the Eyeball series. You're hitchhiking to Heliopolis. Hunter Biden, Poll Worker, Black Mirror, Golden Ratio, December 7th. Vince McMahon, Illuminated, Grandmaster, Cardiac Arrest, Get Trump, The End is Near, Kendrick Lamar, Masonic Logic, Wayne Dyer, Communism, Scorpius. And did you cover Nevada before? I'm sorry. Can't remember.
The only thing that we covered, Teresa and I, was just that she was a child of Wilson and that she passed away of SIDS. We talked about her briefly. Yeah.
All right, I'll do the numbers for that, and then whenever you get
Okay.
to it, because there is things that you've already covered that I have to go back to because it's not in
Okay.
order. Nevada Alexander. This one I think does get interesting. With 1207, it's Universal Code, Jordan B. Peterson. The 14th, Illuminati Families. The 7th, Sign. Watermark, A Great Awakening. The Jesuits and Butterfly Kisses. In the English and Simple, the 786 and the 131, you get Super Bowl, John F. Kennedy, Prince Charles, The Chosen One, The Garden of Eden, The Angel of Death, Nicola Bully, The Eagle Has Landed, Sank Bankman Fried, Pi Network, Lights Out, Roosevelt, Two Sons, Crossroads, Psychopath, Spy Balloon, Intuition, Supernova, The Alpha and the Omega, Narcissist, The Golden Key, Getty Images, Crucifixion, Mike Tyson, Championship. Don't you hate those goddamn Getty Images? You're like, oh, damn, I don't want to use them because it has like its shit all over it. Then I did Nevada by itself. I think this is when it might start getting interesting when I split the name up. It's 751, 282, and then 47. 751, the Royal Lineage, Nicki Minaj, Zoltar, Ivana, Royal Bloodline, Immaculate Reception, Saint Mary, Decode the Zodiac, Hathor is Baby, Holy Mother. Then in the English in Simple, Time, Beast, Legend, Ohio, France, Babylon, Bingo, Bull, Dice Game, Lot, Loki, Caesar, Agent, Judge, Ivana, Radio. Then Alexander, 456, 504, and 84. With the 456, you get a message from God. Kanye, Eunuch again, Potatoes, Firefly, Tesla Time Machine, California Annihilated, 838, Morning, Masonic Messiah, Chocolate Chip Ice Cream. I covered the only reason I highlighted that. I don't know. Do you guys remember that when we did the eyes, I did mention chocolate and chocolate chip a few times, and I thought that was weird, or chocolate chip cookies, so I included that. Reptilian Brain, Golden Sun, Hidden Pattern, a Sumerian. Then in the Simple in English, you get Emmanuel, Jesuit, Arizona, Apophis, It's like kind of like a god of like death in a sense. Fake news, Umbrella, Iron Man, Vampire, Midnight, Savior, Cosmos, and Marshall. Coincidence, Jocelyn, Crocodile, Red Rose, Prophet, Men in Black, Chronos. It might have been one of the other kids that I actually thought like started getting weird, but I'm done with that one. I'll let you take over. Yeah, he had so many kids. It's like I started getting confused about which one was weird. But I do have some of the kids I remember for sure. Like it starts like matching multiple god names, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, no, he has. So, okay. So with just Grimes and Wilson, he has 7 kids, right? Yeah, 7 kids. And then now going briefly into Siobhan, he now has 9 kids. If you count Nevada, that's a total of 10 kids.
There's 10 again.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll have another one just for the sake of having 10 kids, or if he, includes Nevada in that total 10. So it's interesting, again, the whole 10. So Siobhan Alice Zillis was born on February 8th, 1986 in Markham, Ontario, and graduated from Yale Thank you. From Yale in 2008 with a Bachelor in Economics and Philosophy. She is the Director of Operations and Special Projects at Neuralink. She was a fellow at the Creative Destruction Lab, University of Toronto. Sits on the board of Vector Institute for Artificial Intelligence. She set up IBM in Peru and Indonesia in 2008, and she led the investment effort in data and machine learning at Bloomberg Beta. Formerly sat on the board of OpenAI, which is a business venture of Elon Musk, and former project director of Tesla's autopilot product and chip design. She has twins that were born in November of 2021 with Elon via IVF. And there was certain articles that indicated that he was potentially living with her because she lives in Austin now. Bought a house. They kind of put it, where she lives and which side of town. And that he was living with her for, I guess, the time being. I guess after the babies were born or something like that. Again, I don't know if it was rumor or what, but that was some of the articles that I read through indicated that. So, yeah.
Right. Just find that whole family.
Very weird.
Super weird.
And apparently they didn't have sex. I mean, that was some of the articles were saying. They were like, why didn't you? They're like, no, it's not a sexual relationship. It's merely, according to the articles, it's merely transactional.
You know what I don't understand? Sorry. It just even shows how much of a master magician this guy is. Like half the people that like him, if this was somebody else's life and not his, they'd shit all over them. They'd be making memes about them. They'd be saying shit about him. But for some reason, it's okay with this guy. That's unreal.
Yeah, I find
I'm not saying that he should be even shit on, whatever. But that's exactly what would happen. You know what I'm saying? He would fall into like one of the weirdo freaks that gets trolled or, shit on by the right. But for somehow, he's got them whipped.
Yeah, he's like aligned himself with them somehow. I'm not really sure. But I find it weird that they don't have like a sexual or romantic relationship at all, because then it's making me think it's more like a breeding thing with like certain women. He selects them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I
even feel like that's very Mormon.
Yes. And this tying with all the celestial stuff, like the obsession with the stars, this sort of thing.
Like, did he run her numbers and therefore we're, mixing?
Or like saw her resume and was like, damn, she needs to be like the mother of some of my kids to like pass on these amazing genes. Apparently his grandparents also, like, a lot of the intellect comes from Errol, who was like some prized engineer in South Africa.
Right.
But it was his grandmother's or his mother's family who like was renowned for their intellect. So it's interesting. Maybe these like are breeding things on purpose. I don't know. It's odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost how do you say the kings and queens, the what's it called, the
like
royalty,
the
dynasties that they pick, make sure they go through the bloodlines, they run the numbers, they run the birth dates, and then say, okay, this is who you're going to be betrothed to.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Yes, exactly. And also I heard an interview with Justine, like his first wife, and she said he's very much like his father, where when he sees something and he wants it, he will pursue it relentlessly. But she said there was nights where he would call on the phone nonstop till she picked up the phone. And it was like his persistence that like wore her down. And apparently his father did the same thing to May. Since they were kids.
Yeah.
And he's just like, will not take no for an answer.
No for an answer. Yeah. I read that too. That's very interesting.
Maybe they knew something. They wanted for a reason.
I mean, maybe so.
Who knows?
But no, I felt the same way with the whole Siobhan thing, that she was definitely, like, was the offer made, or did she say, I'm running out of time? I don't know.
How does that even come about?
Very just very transactional. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
So, but okay. That's all I have for Siobhan. Okay. I don't have names, and I don't have like actual birth date either, but just November in 2021 via IVF.
All right, you can move on.
Okay. So the business ventures next that I'm going to go into, they've indicated that Elon had coded software for a video game when he was 12 years old in 1984 and named the game Ballstar or Blastar. Sold it to a PC magazine for $500. So I don't know why, but I the name stuck out to me. Ballstar, Blastar, Blastar, something. But yeah. Then Zip2 is a searchable online directory linked to a map. So basically what it does is it uses like the yellow pages and scans through the city guide of maps online and then spits out directions, which, I guess now what we use today. But back then, it was founded on November 6th, 1995 with his brother Kimball and Greg Corey. According to articles, $28,000 was provided by Errol as a startup, but that has been disputed by Elon. And then later, Elon claimed that Errol only provided 10% of $200,000 in funding, which is roughly around the same, 20-something, I think. Compaq acquired Zip2 in February of 1999 for $307 million in cash, according to some articles. And I cite everything, in the PDF, so according to them. Elon received $22 million as part of his 7% share. Zip2 became defunct on March 31st, 1999. Initially, Zip2 was called Glocal Link Information Network, or GLIN. It is said that Elon persuaded Navtech to allow him to use their electronic navigationable mapping software for free, and then coded it with a business listing database. Oh, nice. And that's how he was able to make Zip2. One of the things that I wanted to mention, and I wrote in the PDF, was that Greg Corey, or Gregory Anthony Corey, was Canadian, and he was a family friend. And he went on to fund X.com, help with SpaceX, as well as Tesla. And he died on August 11th, 2012, which I found was kind of weird because he passed away suddenly from a heart attack while in the hospital, while there due to swallowing a fish bone. It's just so weird. Yeah, so odd.
Fish.
But he died in New York City and was a close friend of Elon's parents in Toronto. So yeah, thought I'd mention that. So that was Zip2. Moving on to X.com. It was an early bank with deposits, and it was insured by the FDIC. I believe it's one of the first online banks that was insured by the FDIC. It was initially funded by Elon and Greg Corey, which we talked about. Customers were rewarded for signing up with a $20 cash card or $10 for new member referrals. Musk invested the $12 million that he invested $12 million into the co-funding of X.com on the heels of the sale of Zip2. So that was in March of 1999. X.com was founded on October, which is the 10th month, 1999, and officially launched X.com in December 7th, 1999, attracting 200,000 signups in 2 months. X.com ended up merging with its fiercest competitor, Coinfinity, in March 2000, still maintaining the X.com name. But while he was honeymooning in Australia, the X.com board voted to replace Musk with Peter Thiel in September, effective October of 2000. And then that's when they renamed X.com to PayPal in June of 2001. Musk repurchased X.com domain from PayPal for its great sentimental value on July 5th, 2017. X.com relaunched in July 14th of the same year, 2017, consisting of a blank white page with one X at the top left corner and a customer error page displaying a Y as a result of only having X in its source code. Just very cryptic, very odd.
Another X and Y long before those kids were born.
Before you move on to the next one, let me know when you're done with X. Oh, okay. Let me cover this one because this one just by itself because this one's good. XCOM, Hebrew gematria 383, then English gematria 330, simple 55. The 383, you will get telekinesis, Icarus, Doritos, Shooter, Root Chakra, Usher, Prince Philip, Nico Stark. And then I hate to jump over them because of the way my notes are. In English gematria, though, with the 330 and the 55, that equals nut, which is another name for new wheat. And then the 383 in the Hebrew gematria of XCOM also equals Haruraha, who is from the Book of the Law and Thelemic shit. So, like, even in both, like, in the Hebrew and in the English, it is matching, like, pretty much, like, the same type of gods in the same scenario. Wow. And also 330 and 55 also equal Iris. You know, and it's interesting how we're talking about the eights. The Hebrew gematria for Iris is 188. Wow. Then back to the 383, you get Pixie, Fibonacci Spiral, Elohim of Israel, Ruaha. And then in the English and simple, you will get Satan, December, Balenciaga, Heaven, JFK Jr., Monica, Judas, Sky, Iris, Piano, Michelle, Club Q, Melania, Cloud, Gray, Nut, Bones, Ganesha, Freya, Wicked, Laws, Wakanda, Uncle, Burn. And then you didn't do PayPal yet, did you? Or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. So that is all. I just wanted to add it because I do think that is very weird. How to me, I find that weird.
That's a lot.
No, that is a lot. Yeah. No, that's. And then the whole Iris thing. I think in the I series, Teresa, you mentioned how Iris, you know, when you change it to Siri, and Siri is AI, and just X.com is going to go on to, you know, help with AI programming. Yeah. So. Oh, and I forgot to mention X.com in December of 2017 redirected to the Boring Company website, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, that one matches a bunch of stuff too.
Yeah.
His company
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah. Okay, so PayPal. It's an online financial and email payment service. It was initially founded as X.com in 1999 with 12 million from selling Zip2, which we kind of briefly mentioned a little while ago. In March of 2000, X.com merged with CoInfinity with Peter Thiel. And after several ousting and reinstating, Thiel ended up replacing Musk in October of 2000, renamed the company to PayPal in June of 2001. PayPal went public in 2002 with the IPO listed as PYPL at $13 a share. About 13. On October 3rd, 2002, PayPal was sold to eBay for 1.5 billion in stock. Musk, who at the time held 11.72% shareholding, received $175.8 million. PayPal was termed as one of the 10 worst business ideas of 1999.
Wow.
That's it for PayPal.
All right, let me cover PayPal real quick.
Okay.
PayPal 542 in Hebrew, 426 in English, and simple English 71. I think I mentioned 71 before. I might have. 542, you get Astral Goddess, Homer Simpson. I did mention the Simpsons earlier with somebody else. Saturnalia, Policy, XRP Coin, Anomaly, Cyborg, Green Day, XRP Cash, Australian, Fountain of Life, Hydro, Sentient Beings, Asteroid Impact, Tuning Fork, Ray God, Blue Roses. Found Blue Rose interesting because that was like something big with Fire Walk With Me, the Blue Rose. Then the English and simply you get Samuel, Zeus, Moses, Apollo, Jasmine, Babylon, Snow, Ocean Gate, Orion, Toth, Virgo, Pisces, Bulgaria, Quran, Balloon, Wendy, Celtics, and Spider. Merlin, Catholic, Target, Kodak, Black, Pleiadian, Pleiades, Marvel, Leopard, Temple, Raziel. Some of those sounded familiar. Sounded like stuff I read off before. All right, I'm done with that. You can go on.
So the next business venture I have listed, and I tried to put them in order by how they started to appear in his life. The next one was SpaceX, which SpaceX is a space exploration company co-founded in May of 2002. It begun with, which I thought was kind of interesting. It started off with the involvement of the Mars Society, which was a group that was trying to start a growth chamber for plants on Mars. And the whole goal was to attempt to purchase refurbished intercontinental ballistic missiles from Russia.
Yo, real quick. I've
Go ahead.
always said this over and over and over again with the fucking Nazis and Hitler. A lot of Hitler's boys were all fucking botanists.
Yes, they were.
This dude is a fucking Nazi. I hate to be just come out and say, but people need to fucking open up their eyes with this dude. He's a Nazi.
Well, and what's interesting, you know how and I'm sure you've read this, is that the book Project Mars, written by Werner von Braun, lists that a society was going to be established or founded on Mars.
Yes.
With the leader
named
being called Elon.
Ah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you have the book, you have Werner von Braun. I mean, come on, you can't get any more Nazi than that. And then you have this whole Mars Society group that was trying to buy missiles from Russia. And apparently it didn't go well because I think Russia was asking for too much. And he was just like, screw it, I'm just going to build my own rocket. And hence why SpaceX was created. But so one of the things that I wanted to mention was that one of the members of the Mars Society that went with him to Russia was a guy named Michael Douglas Griffin. And he went with him in 2001, and then he went with him again in 2002. Michael Douglas Griffin is part of In-Q-Tel, which is the CIA project that was looking for It was a branch of the CIA that was looking for projects to fund so that they could, advance whatever the projects were at the time. So Michael Douglas Griffin went with him on these trips to Russia to try to buy a rocket. And I think they offered $8 million, and it didn't go. It didn't happen. So Elon Musk founded SpaceX in May of 2002. And what was interesting, just a second. What was interesting is that 20 companies applied for the commercial orbital transport services contract with the government. And of those 20 companies, only SpaceX was selected. Mind you, I believe the other 19 had shown proof that they could do it, and SpaceX had yet to prove that they could, according to the articles, right? And so it was kind of odd that they got it. But if you look further, the project admin at the time was Mike Griffin, who went with him to Russia. So it kind of makes sense why he got the contract. And the contract was, or the grant was awarded to SpaceX for $396 million in 2005 without ever flying a rocket. On the verge of going bankrupt again, SpaceX was awarded $3.5 million from NASA again, and Griffin's private company. They are the largest customer in the Space Development Agency. And in June of 2023, the Department of Defense signed a contract with SpaceX to finance the use of Starlink in Ukraine. So this contract that they got, let me go back. The contract that they got without ever flying a rocket, it was so that they could basically transport payloads to the International Space Station. That's what the whole contract was for.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think, and like somehow him and Bigelow and the International Space Station were all working together with something like that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So Flight 4, the rocket that finally did take off, I believe it was a Falcon 9, happened and successfully flew the Sunday before Christmas of 2008. The 8 again. It was a success, and NASA called and offered an additional that's when they called and offered the $1.5 billion contract. So yeah, I think it was like right at the cusp. So in 2023, SpaceX hired a tech engineer prodigy, 14-year-old, to help with the engineering and the tech of this side of it. Also, SpaceX acquired Swarm Technologies in July 16th of 2021. Prior to acquiring Swarm had launched 3 new satellite probes on the SpaceX Rocket 9 in November, alongside 70 probes as part of a mission that had been already, I guess, designated. Swarm Technologies has been listed as one of In-Q-Tel's companies or venture arm of CIA startups. So again, you see the In-Q-Tel all over again, probably Mike Griffin's part of it as well, CIA. One of the products that is used by Swarm Tech and now SpaceX, their launch vehicles, Dragon capsules, satellite constellation, Starlink, and Space Bee, as in the insect.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still have me stuck on Swarm shit.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah. So quickly, so Starlink is part of the SpaceX.
Oh, thank you.
It's like a
all right.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you done with SpaceX and going into Starlink or what? Or...
I'm going to go into Starlink. So
let
if
me
you want to
do
go ahead.
SpaceX real quick then.
Okay.
This one's good. And it goes back to something that I think with this, to me, it's like very symbolic. Again, you get Simpsons. Again, something with the Simpsons. McFly, Ancestors, Gold Rush, The Absence of Light, Bowman. It matches Bowman. Well, first off, the 459 in Hebrew, and then 408 and 68 in English. The 408 and the 68 equals Bowman again. Remember, if I said if it was something to do with an archer, tell me how SpaceX isn't kind of like shooting off. just like the Archer, letting go of that fucking arrow.
The Starlink,
Oh.
that's the constellation. Yeah, when they released those Starlink constellation satellites. Yeah.
Then the English in simple, the 408 and 68 also matches July. It matches Hermes. Like I was just saying, you know, even Hermes a Thoth. To me, that could be like a bow and a rod in a sense. Shalom, Amun Ra, Denver, Logos, Mpox, Shazam, Taiwan, David Icke, Coinbase, Mar-a-Lago, Baron, and Melanin. Right. And now you can go on to Starlink.
Okay. So Starlink is a constellation satellites of low Earth orbit for internet access. And they go into this whole low Earth orbit over and over when you look up Starlink, like what is it and where are they putting them and stuff like that. So, and it's kind of caused controversy with a lot of astrophysicists and astrology programs because they're closer in and that they were afraid that they would block the ability to study the sky. That was the part of the thing that they said the controversy was. So it's a constellation of low Earth orbit satellites for internet access. It was founded in 2014, receiving the trademark on March 2017. The first prototype launched in February of 2018 with 60 satellites launching on May 2019. Starlink is SpaceX satellite internet service. The total cost of the 10-year project to deploy constellation was approximately $10 billion. Again, the 10. Musk announced in October, 10th month, 2022, that 20,000 satellites were donated to Ukraine, costing SpaceX $80 million, and would continue to provide a yearly cost of $400 million. Satellites are equipped with krypton or argon fueled thrusters, which they said is very expensive, apparently. Yeah. So he sent the first tweet through space via Starlink satellite on October 22nd, 2019 at 1:03 a.m.
Oh God.
13. Take out that 0. Yeah, that's funny because it's Starlink equals Mr. Tweet.
Yes.
No, stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he changed his name to Mr. Tweet. So right, like, yeah.
Wow.
Come on. Oh, it's all just by coincidence, you know.
Total
Right.
coincidence.
Look at he gets my tweet scene. He's cool. I tell you.
Yeah, for $8 a month, right?
Yeah, or 11 is some shit.
Yeah.
Who fucking
Those
cares?
11 now.
But again,
he gets me seen. Who cares?
But $8 or
Jesus
11.
Yeah, exactly, right? Come on.
Oh. Are you done? Wait, are you done with Starlink now, or
I'm done with Starlink. I'm done with Starlink. Yeah.
All right, 350 is the Hebrew, and then you get 624 and 104 in the English. 350, you will get King of Diamonds, which I think I've said before. Ox, Bud Light, UPS, Escalator, and Satellite. Spirals, Kai Musk, Life After Death. These are all things I've read before. Then the English and simple, you will get Parable, Jerusalem, Reptilian, Starlink, Mr. Tweet, Whitney, WhatsApp, Roswell, Good Friday, and April Fool. JFK is alive, Polygon, Reptiles, Grateful Dead, Snoopy, Singapore, Shock and Awe, Michelangelo, Acknowledged, which I think that's a movie by another fucking grifter, Dr. Stephen Greer. Big Brother, Sandalphon, Vortex, Drowning, and Elysium. Yeah, and then that's it. Then I have Neuralink next. So you can go.
Okay, and let me quickly insert Space Bee, the little product. So Space Bee is also a constellation of pico satellites. So they're smaller satellites, and they're in the form of cubes. They consist of cubes the size of 10 centimeters.
Come on.
Intended to reach a quantity of 150. Swarm's website says that satellites have a mass of 400 grams. And they give the measurements, which there's an 8 and there's a 10.
Now, even remember, there is a part of your eyeball that has 4 milliliters of like liquid.
Right. Yeah, it's the vitreous. The satellites are spread out like strings of pearls into a series of distributed sun-synchronous orbital planes as Swarm's smallest operational satellites.
It's like brains that look like it's hanging. Like that's like, in my opinion, that again is like sounding like Nuit's jewels, and when they're talking about all like your jewelry and shit, it's all that stuff hanging from the top of your eyeball.
Yeah,
and all your little colored cones.
Yeah. They quoted it measuring at 11 by 11 by 2.8 centimeters, providing the backbone of connectivity for agriculture, energy, transportation, and the environment. First batch of 12 Space Bee satellites launched on September 30th of 2020 aboard the Vega launcher, beginning with numbered Space Bee 10 through Space Bee 21. Total of 6 batches have been launched.
So September 30th, 93? 93.
Yeah.
Jeez. What year was that?
That was in, where was it?
Sorry, threw you off.
No. It was.
Yeah, you got to know everything. She'll ask you questions.
Sorry.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I'm glad. It was launched September. September 30th, 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
And that company got in trouble because they launched without getting an actual permit. Like they submitted for the permit, but they hadn't got granted yet. And I guess they were waiting, and they ended up like launching it anyway, and they got in trouble. They had to pay a fine or whatever. But shortly after, that's when they were acquired by SpaceX. So anyway, controversy upon controversy. Okay. So you have Neuralink, you said next?
Yeah, I do have that next. Doesn't mean you have to go in that order, but.
Okay. Okay. So let me do Tesla quickly. Tesla is a luxury electric car company. Musk gave himself the nickname Techno King. Musk was lead investor in the company's 2004 series funding round, becoming the largest shareholder in exchange for $6.5 million, assuming greater control, and then ultimately becoming the CEO in 2008. So Tesla's first car was a Roadster, revealed in July 19, 2006. So there was this whole huge debate or argument because Ebhart and Tarpening were the original guys from Tesla. But now you can't say that because they went to court, and you have to say that it was founded by 5 people, Musk included. And so they have now the rights to say that Musk is the founder of Tesla after the lawsuit happened. They purchased a facility in May of 2010 for $42 million and opening Tesla production in October of 2010. Company issued 13.3 million shares of common stock at $17 a share.
17?
Yeah. They moved Tesla to Austin on December 1st of 2021, celebrated the opening on April of 2022. As of April 2022, all vehicles use prismatic lithium iron phosphate batteries. Launched the first beta full self-driving software on October 22nd, 2022, but has yet to be released commercially.
422, you said? See, I find that interesting because at first I was thinking like, all right, the 22 is very, Jonah might like this.
April.
Well, the 22 is also very, like, to me, I would see that as very Janus-like. And then like December 1st, I would still even really consider December and January big for Janus as well. And then I'm thinking like, even now you're getting 4s, and then like 4 times 22, be 88.
Right. Aren't there some belief systems that April is the brand new year? Like April
Yes.
1st is New Year's Eve day or something. And so the month would be the brand new month, or it would be the new month of the new year. I don't know. That's something that,
Yeah, either like the spring equinox or like April 1st is like
right,
actually the new year, according to some.
right. And so, yeah, so I thought that was
You know, and the
interesting
Fool
on
is a
that.
very occult. I mean, it's on a tarot card. So
April Fool's Day. You
Yeah.
guys
and
all
Yeah,
think it's
April
the
Fool's.
wrong day. Right?
Yeah,
no, I've actually
exactly.
thought that. I
Yeah,
was like, are we just being trolled? Actually,
I think so.
I think so too. You know, and it's funny because I think like a Russian ambassador, like told Elon to quit playing the fool, which was interesting. There was an article that was published in May of last year, and it was like Chinese military scientists that published an article. It was like peer-reviewed journal, the whole bit on how to destroy Starlink constellation in the event of threat of national security to China. And Elon responded with a quote from Fault in Our Stars of Julius Caesar. And a Russian ambassador went on to saying, "You will have to answer in an adult way, Elon, no matter how you play the fool." Which I thought, why would you say fool? Like, I mean, I get it, but it just, I don't know. Considering, you know, the way he acts on Twitter. So
Maybe that's why he has to fight in the Coliseum. Like some
That's
humiliation
awesome.
ritual
That's awesome.
against Mark Zuckerberg,
Yeah.
if that actually happens.
well, I was thinking
Yeah.
about that, and not to get off on a tangent, and I do like
Yeah.
kind of want to get into some more things before we wrap it up. But like, you know, I was like, I saw somebody post something about humiliation ritual, and I'm like, you know, if you were like okay with it being filmed, is it really humiliation?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're okay, like, how is that humiliating for you? You wouldn't be showing it if it was. You wouldn't be doing this. How is that? Like, I just don't think it's. I don't know. I think people get that like a little twisted sometimes. That's all.
I think it's like maybe something you wouldn't otherwise agree to. So it's
No, but
like
it's like they
you
see
have
like
to
John
check
Cena
your.
dressing up as a chick in a commercial is a humiliation ritual. I'm like, to him, he's like, no, fuck you. I'm getting paid. I don't care.
Yeah, maybe just.
Yeah.
He's like, when I go home, I know I don't fuck around and act like that. And I just made a fuck ton of money. And the people who got shit to say about me, I'll never see them because I have a huge piece of product. Like, it's not humiliation for them. They don't give a fuck because they agreed to do it.
I think
Right, they agreed
a
to it.
small part of your self-respect dies every time you do something like that, though. Like, honestly,
Maybe, you know.
I don't know.
All right,
Maybe not.
go ahead.
He's a big fat cast. One of the things, so his models is Model S, Model X, Model Y on these cars, Tesla cars. And so the Model X, which I thought was interesting, was estimated to go 333 miles before the next charge for a while. And then now they've updated it, and so it's not that anymore. But I thought that was kind of odd that at some point, one of the Tesla models only went 333 miles without a charge. So yeah, and it was the all-time best-selling one out of all of them. Then briefly, the Tesla Gigafactory was built on 2,100 acres or 3.3 square miles. It's here in Texas off of State Highway 130, and it was bought for $97 million. As of March, third month of 2023, 3,500 acres have been bought in Austin with the 4 million square foot Gigafactory on top of it. And I believe the rumor is that he's wanting to move Neuralink as well as potential some of SpaceX to this area. That's the chatter. I can't confirm that, but that's just what some of the threads are saying. And the other thing is that he recently received a state and local tax break totaling $64 million just to build here in Texas. So on to Neuralink. It's an ultra-high bandwidth brain-machine interface connecting the human brain to computers. It was founded in July of 2016. Musk bought the name and concept from scientists Pedram Mohensi and Randolph Nudo on January of 2017. On July of 2019, Neuralink announced that it was developing a sewing machine-like device capable of implanting very thin threads 4 to 6 micrometers in width into the brain and able to read information from 1,500 electrodes in a rat. Human trials were approved on May of 2023. And that's all I got on Neuralink.
All right, then I'll do a Neuralink real quick. We got 405, 630, and 105. 405, baby, grandmother, daughter, Abby, Tequila, Sean Carter. And then the 630 and the 105 also matches the hyaloid canal. And some of the stuff that matches that. And then back to the 405, you get patience, human blood, the origin of all, the ring of fire, which I could even see the ring of fire even being the lens. Goddess Athena, Dr. Death. Then over for the English and Simple Internet, Alex Jones, Christine, Blood Moon, Simpson, Light Bearer, Red October, Francis Bacon, Green Comet, Dirty Diana, Masonry, Sudden Death, Amazing Grace, Scarecrow, Rockstar, Messenger. Again, that's what Toth is. New Zealand, Hammer Time, Equinox, fuck Joe Biden, Father Time, Moon Circle, Horizon, and Ashley Babbitt. That's what I have for that. But again, it even matches something that goes with an eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I have next the Boring Company. I'm saying that right. Boring?
That's how I would have said it. So
I think so.
I don't know why they would name it Boring, but okay.
Well,
Boring
boring
Company.
is tunneling.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the first thing I thought.
yeah.
But I didn't make that realization at first. I was like, the Boring Company. It's like, is that some troll move? Like, it's funny.
Oh no,
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, why did they name it Boring? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
no,
like
boring
tunneling.
into the tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what it is, right? Yeah. So it's an all-electric transportation system through the use of fast, affordable tunneling technology. They built a 1.15 mile research and development tunnel in Hawthorne, and the Vegas loop is currently under construction, and the company will attempt to build a hyperloop for traveling distances less than 2,000 miles. And so briefly, I'm just going to lump in hyperloop, is that hyperloop is just a proposed high-speed transportation system for public and goods transport. So yeah. But that's all I have for hyperloop and the Boring Company.
Oh, I might be able to do Hyperloop then too right after this. The Boring Company, I have 885 for Hebrew, and then 1110. Found that interesting. For English, and then the simple is 185. Again, like if these eights, if there's some like silent and you can take them out sometimes, or it doesn't count, like you get a 15 there. We've mentioned 15s before. 15 is like I've seen that a lot, like in stuff. I think. You get Vampire with the 885, First Explorer. I thought that was interesting. Skull and Crossbones, Cyclical Nature, Vietnam, Jean Pierre, Christ Returns, Elon Musk, Antichrist. Then for the is that the 185. Now again, the 185 is in simple gematria, but then 185 in Hebrew, you will get Nent, which is another name for Nuit again. Another god name. And that matches the 185. And then with the 885, you still get Quentin Tarantino, Archangel Azrael, The Sound of Music. And Skull, I mentioned Skull and Crossbones. Then with the 110 and the 1,110 and then 185, Donald John Trump, Stock Market Crash, November 11th, World Trade Center, Holy Mystery, Divine Twin Flames, Our Sun is Alive, The Truman Show, First Explorer, To Kill a Mockingbird, Book of Revelation, and Colorado Springs. What was the other one that you said you also did?
I did Hyperloop.
Yeah, Hyperloop.
Hyperloop.
I know I did that. Well, here we go. I'll do this real quick. Hyperloop, 733 in Hebrew. English gematria 780 and simple 130. 733 sports betting spy balloon, Holy Ghost, the sound of freedom, Beelzebub, I am Lucifer and Marduk, subscription, St. Christopher Borgia, 6th of April, Pythagoras in English and simple, Purple Rain, We Are the People, Washington, television, George W. Bush, Pythagorean, 7-7, vaccinations, Saint Germain, White Horse, The Serpent, Skull Bones, Morgan Freeman, 300, Human Sacrifice, Django Unchained, The Son of Man, Archangel Raphael, Corinthians, Prodigal Son, Ellen DeGeneres, May 11th, Post Malone, and Billy Carson. Did you do OpenAI earlier too?
No, I have not. I have not
Okay.
done that yet.
All right. Sorry. All right.
No, totally.
What's the next one that you're going to? You can
I'm gonna
go
do Twitter really quickly.
on. Oh, yeah. See, I didn't do some of them because I was going to leave them.
Well, let me do OpenAI then.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't even
So,
do yet because I had so much shit already. I totally forgot to tell you that. That's
fine.
my bad.
There's just so much. There's just really so much, really.
Actually, I want to do this, and then I want to just cover the rest of his kids that I have because that gets weird, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. So OpenAI is an artificial intelligence research laboratory that was developed for the sake of creating a safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence. And it's basically a highly autonomous system that's going to outperform humans in just, basic functions. It was founded in 2015, and it with a $1 billion investment and a $10 billion $1 billion investment in 2019 and a $10 billion investment in 2023. It has a long list of people that have invested. Sam Altman is one of the listed. So is Peter Thiel. Amazon is also listed, and it's just a long list of OpenAI. And I believe this is also linked to GPT. I believe it uses the system for it. And that basically, so OpenAI is the laboratory, and then ChatGPT is the actual interface to where you interact with it, and it spits back the question, or it spits back the answer to the question that you had. And then it also has other programs with it, like GPT-4, which is now the higher form of ChatGPT, and then DALL-E 2. There's a lot of new AIs out there that use the ChatGPT technology or the GPT-4 type functionality. So, and that's all I have for OpenAI.
All right, OpenAI. I have Hebrew gematria 165, English and simple 360 and 60. I find those interesting. 165, you get Checkmate, Cipher, Archangel, Aliens, Rome, Miranda, Bengals, Fallen Angel, The Big Lie, Marine, Selena, Camaro, Lent, Keto, Saladin. And then in the 360 and the 60, you get Orange, Ford, Diamond, Kraken, Holy, Police, Peru, Brian with a Y. I thought that was interesting with Brian Kohlberger. Order, Raven, Aliens, Berlin, Miranda, Billy, Kings, Bengals, Petra, List, Connie, Dracula, Darren, Sonic, Reddit, Desire, Keys. Yeah, and that was the end of that one. Nothing too exciting, but
yeah,
weird.
The fact that you said Peru, it reminded me of when Siobhan was sent to Peru to develop that stuff for IBM.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna run to the rest of the kids now. I know like one or two of them that gets like really good. The last one actually it's actually freaky in my opinion. All right, so I did cover Navanda Alexander, and then did I cover Griffin myself? I think
I don't think so.
I'll just do it real quick. Griffin is 157 in Hebrew, and then 414 in English, and 69 in simple. And that's again the top of the arches. You get with 157 Antifa, Ramadan, Amin Ra, Papa Legba. Find that interesting. 69 will also match lipids, which is in your eye. It also matches lacrimal, which is in your eye. And then back to the 157, you get Sobek, Decimate, The Child, Deep Mind. And then with the 414 and the 69 again, you get Beyonce, Jehovah, Atlanta, Texas, Ghost, Cameron, The Law, Archangel, Eclipse, Mexico, Checkmate, Husband, Miller, Message, False Flag, Mayday, Mithra, Night with a K, Venom, Drugs, Bishop, Black Hole. A lot of the same shit over and over again that I've said before. Vivian, 149, 462, and then 77. For 1459, you get January 8th, Larry Johnson, Holy War. Now for the 77, you do get Caruncle, which is in your eye. Now back to the 1459, you have Timothy McVeigh, Abuser of Women, Two of Cups. That was perfect. For the 462 and the 77, Christ, Power, Wake Up, Kenneth, Life Path, Stars, Babe Ruth, Court, Cherry, Thanos, Grammy, Hexagram, Cookies, Sacrificed, The Big Lie. Xavier, 1095, 474, and 79. For the 1095, you have Yeshua, the King of Kings, Ancient Bloodlines of the Illuminati, the Ancient King David, 7 Archangels, Twerk. Aliens are building the Antichrist. Kind of are. And then you can go back to but the 79 in simple does match ganglion, which is a part of your eye. And like I kind of make a joke about it, but I do question, like, we have covered a lot of things from the Lion King and there being a gang of lion. It's just like, is this all like coincidence or just some like weird shit? And like even like that won't match the 174, so it's not worth reading what ganglion matches. All right, back to the 1095, San Jose, California. Roland, Mind Blown, Peruvian. Aliens, a Lie 33. Lion, Wolf. Found that kind of interesting. 474 and the 79, Murder, Ukraine, Mother, Virgin, Greenpeace, Diamonds, Alpha, Omega, Nature, Miami Heat, Oranges, Orlando, Nirvana, Lincoln, Sword, Morbius, Democrat, Paradox, Lemuria. Saxon, 481, 438, and 73. 481, Fortune, December 13, P. Diddy. The 73 from the Simple also matches the Hermit. The 481, Artificial Intelligence, Nefarious, Guinness, He is Coming Soon, Corona Borealis, Biblical Information. 438 and the 73, Joseph, Sacrifice, Egypt, Nimrod, Nibiru, Ordinal, Stone, Children, Crown, Ezekiel, Goddess, Copper, Patience, Paradise, Kingdom, Carolina, Sons, Tweet, Orgasm, Mouse, Namaste, and Union. This is the good one. Damien, 85, 252, and 42. 85, you get Banana, Anime, Main, Angelic, Feline, Emo. It's funny how like anime and emo, because they can sometimes go together too. LAPD. But the 252 and the 42 in English and Simple also match Hadith. And Hadith, again, Book of the Law, Thelemic God. And then the 85 in the Hebrew gematria also matches Nen, which I mentioned before is a female version of Nuit. And the simple gematria of Nuit is also 33, but it does match the 85 in the Hebrew gematria. So like this kid, like in my opinion, has like the male and the female version of gods in the Book of the Law in both names. Like that's both of them that one name. It also goes with Deepak, Nen, like I said, a bomb, Alex, War, Iran, Pepe, Libra, Odin, Dawn, Japan, Fish, Sin, UFO, Big Bang, YMCA, Aleph, first letter of the alphabet, right? Carl with a K, Math, Hecate, Honda, and Chakra. And that's what I have for his kids. And I'm done.
The Damien, I believe, is working at Fermilab. And he's like barely 18, I think. I'm not sure. But he's supposedly super smart, very interested in physics, all that, quantum stuff. And so Fermilab is a laboratory that is looking at, I believe, wormholes and portals. So, yeah, found that interesting.
One of our fellow podcasters works there.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, she got a job there recently. Interestingly enough. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
What
yeah,
place?
I thought, and Fermilab, I think it's in Chicago.
Oh,
right?
I don't even know.
Fermilab is in Chicago. And it is
Sounds
also
like something that should be in Utah, like some like fucking scam business, just by the name of it.
No, it's in
no, for sure.
Oh, I forget where. I'll look it up.
No, I'm just saying, just from the name of it, because like pyramid scheme is illegal in Utah, so a lot of Mormons.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
No, it's named after the Italian scientist. For
yes, that's right.
His last name's Fermi.
Yeah. And I believe if you read some of the stuff for Damien, it sounds like they're kind of, I hate to say it, grooming him into the whole physics thing, right? Yeah.
Like they're like setting him up with like certain music, right? Like, isn't he like enrolled in like music? Certain,
all kinds of.
Like, they're almost kind of telling you, like, this is where we're pushing him, like almost advertising. I thought.
Yeah. But
very weird though how he had, in my opinion, that both gods matched that shit. And we got other gods with the other people, other parts of the eye. I mean, that was like a lot of the same shit that we just saw in the whole eyeball series. All the same usual suspects, really.
Yeah, it's a lot of matches. Like, it's hard to deny that there's some sort of connection there. I know Jonah was saying in the chat on YouTube about, he's like, Elon Musk is into realism, which is that like UFO alien religion.
Yes,
that makes a lot of sense, considering a lot of the things we've just said about him and his family.
And the symbol for that is what Kanye posted, and he kicked him off for.
Yeah. So the symbol of realism is the Star of David, or Star of Remphan, whoever you want to talk about, with the swastika in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it refers to infinity, the up and the down. I don't know. Weird. Also, too, the founder of Clonade, the company, which is in Toronto, interestingly enough, is into realism as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So I was like, is that where the obsession with the transhuman stuff comes from?
Oh.
I'm not sure. I do also know Elon Musk has been quoted in interviews as saying like he hates being alone, and he hates going to sleep alone, to bed alone, that kind of thing. And I'm like, is that also where the transhuman things come from? Like to preserve like your loved one, or like, I don't know, make sure that he's never alone because he's going to live forever and keep like cyborg companions. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Did you cover Ad Astra? Sorry to interrupt.
Not yet. No, not yet. But I have like one sentence on it if you want me to just state
Did you cover
it.
the Musk Foundation?
No, I have not said anything about Musk.
All right, we'll save that off the next one then. All right.
So no Ad Astra.
Yeah, I was looking at what I had for companies that maybe I might have left out that you did read, and I don't have any.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I think that was enough. I think that was a lot of numbers. I think that was a lot for people to listen to. Thank you, everybody people look like who were here at the beginning are still talking in chat now. That's what's up. I mean, that's 2 hours later. It's a lot of info, a lot of talking, a lot of numbers. And from what it looks like, it seems to be making sense to you people because you seem to be like, yeah, that's a lot of weird shit or adding to stuff. So thank you all for hanging out and listening. That's what's up. Again, that was a long one. Thank you both very much for jumping on. I know this was a Friday night. We started at 8. It's already after 10. I'm sure you could have had better things to do, but
No, never.
you came out here, and that was awesome. I had a really good time. I think I just really do think something is up with this guy. I do think he is a master magician. You get all these god names coming up, all these other things too, not even just from like thelemic sense. Like even like just other god names or other things coming up and stuff like in Hebrew or just weird. And then like, if you even want to entertain the idea that occultism might have something to do with our actual eyes, then even all that other stuff is weird as shit.
Right.
I do think he is a master magician. So, we had JPL, rockets. We had the Nazis, rockets, tanks and rockets. And we have him, rockets. Constant theme with these people.
Nazis were also into aliens
and magic.
Yeah, they were.
They were serious fucking magicians, and they're still active over somewhere else too. So, my opinion, there's a lot of magic going on. I have even started to wonder, like, how much is even really him? How do we know that, like, he hasn't actually been in charge for a while and a lot of shit's actually fake? We don't know actually how far this guy has gone with taking control. We'd have no idea.
Well, or even like how Lisa was saying back in the episode about how like SpaceX was like the only company chosen after they had those tests or whatever, and they hadn't even flown a rocket yet. So it's like, why is it like so fixated for like him to succeed or for him to take over these companies or be in these positions?
Yeah.
Why is it why is it so important? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, thank you very much again for spending all this time and effort covering this with us. There will be a part 2. Who knows when that will happen? There's other things that we still need to do, and this will be very time consuming to do another part 2. But I will be touching upon like stuff with, again, Tucker Carlson, certain things that he's tweeted, certain pictures that he's shown, certain movies that he's quoted. I will be showing you, like, again, going back to the same gods and stuff in the eyeballs. It's over and over and over again with this guy. And I think by the end of part 2, like, it's like, neither you think I'm crazy or you just choose not to see it. So, but that will probably be like a month or so down the road. And that's the end of another Occult Rejects. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.